I think basing a web series on Dungeon Master is an excellent idea because for a number of reasons. Because we have these hiatuses during the winter and the summer, and the fans still want to be involved somehow, and and watch the show, and that's a good way for them to be involved. And it also adds so much more to the world of Atoll than a stage. I mean, you can use your imagination, and it's fine. It's okay. But it's especially something else to actually see a world and see characters that are a bit more fleshed out than the few minutes you get to see them on stage, and you get to really know them. And it's especially good if you can tie it into the show and bring those characters back. Then people have like a history, and they know the background of the characters, and it's just a great fleshing out. It's like going from 2D to 3D, or from black and white to color, or whatever Al Jolson did with that racist movie.
The idea of doing a web series based off of Dungeon Master is so much fun. Because from the geeky side of me that, plays video games and does geeky things like look at Batman pictures and stuff on the internet in my spare time, I want more from a story. And especially if I enjoy something like Dungeon Master, like all of you do. So very much. I think it's great to go off and have more to that, even if it's not directly correlated, just more of something that you enjoy, because I don't think you can ever go too far and do too much, really. So the idea of doing a web series based off of the show is wonderful, because we get to, like, as actors, we get to explore more characters and have more fun. And the cool thing about doing it is we get to make choices, and if those choices don't necessarily work, we can cut and make better choices. So even then, it could be a more refined version of Dungeon Master, which I think is a great idea. Just because on stage you kind of sometimes you'll make a mistake and you won't do something quite right, and you kind of regret it. You're like, oh, I would have been so funny had I not been not funny. And so if you make that mistake, you can always cut the camera, and then they can go, you're an idiot, do something better, and then you hopefully do something better.
Well, I think it's a fantastic idea to base a web series on Dungeon Master. I think that when you have a show like Dungeon Master that has this kind of built-in fan base, I mean, we really do. We've been out here for so long. I think that you take that and then you look at something like a web series, which is obviously this emerging media. I mean, I think they're saying now that people in my age range and maybe a little bit lower are spending like 5 or 6 hours a day getting entertainment from the web. That's something you can't ignore. People are sitting on their computers longer than they're watching TV. And so when you have this great opportunity to make something for as cheap as you can make a webisode for and reach so many people in such a short period of time, I just feel like you can't turn your back on that. So you take that and you combine it with the fact that Dungeon Master's already got this great audience, and there's really no great fantasy web series out there. And honestly, I don't think there's a lot of great fantasy stuff in general out there. I just think it's this perfect opportunity to do something really special.